This is their draw coming into the finals, and this is why, Mike, you're a little bit concerned about whether or not they can finish in the top four. We'll get their draw up, and here it comes. Round 19, they've got Carlton, Geelong, Hawthorn. They've got one they should win up at the Gabba, but the travel is going to be difficult. And then, of course, they've got Port Adelaide.
I reckon they've got two of those that they could confidently look forward to winning. Two. But the other three are in the balance. They've got to beat Geelong at Geelong.
Three of them at Patterson Stadium, though.
Yeah, but the Geelong one is away. The Hawks at Patterson.
They'll start favourite in every game there.
Will they?
Perhaps not
in every game. They won't start
except
at Geelong.
down at Skills Stadium.
And against the Hawks.
Siemens Stadium.
If you beat Sydney, they won't start favourite against the Hawks.
That's an if.
Are you concerned about the pressure? I know that Ballantyne wasn't playing and underrated for the pressure.
Sandilands wasn't playing and Hill wasn't playing.
Understand that. When you look at the time that they're spending in their forward half, it is right down the bottom of the final 8 teams, Mike. It's unlike the Fremantle Dockers. They generally have taken forward pressure into to a new level.
You read the results out, though. I mean, they're not as good this year as they were last year, are they?
Well, not at the present time, but they're the facts. At the present time, they're 7th of the final 8 sides for time inside the forward 50. And I think Chris Mayne has been an issue there because he's now playing in the back half, but he hasn't been the same influential player keeping the ball inside the forward 50.
And Michael Walters hasn't been there, has he? I mean, he was probably nearly the most effective forward last year.
He was, but they had enough quality out on that ground to do something. I thought the midfield was particularly poor.
Yep.
I mean, to see the numbers that Fife and Mundy and Barlow and the rest of them all came up with was extraordinary. But I reckon what concerned me the most and what would have really hurt Ross Lyon were the defensive structures at some of the stoppages in St Kilda's forward line. To leave blokes loose around a stoppage, have a look at some of these blokes that are just standing in space, waiting for the ball to be farmed out, and they conceded goals in this manner, not just once, but 2 and 3 times. I mean, that's just, that's very un-Fremantle-like, isn't it?
You're entitled for a weekend off. He'll be looking for a response after the bye.
Well, let me tell you, 20 of them had a weekend off, Jared, and it's you just don't see these sorts of things happening.
But it's the cost, Jared. Essendon's in trouble because they lost to Melbourne and St Kilda.
Yep.
Freo's now in trouble because they lost to St Kilda.
So who pays the price? There has to be some action, you would suspect.
Well, there'll be 3 come back automatically, the 3 we talked about before. I'm not sure. I mean, it depends on the balance. You can't take him just because the bloke had a bad game. If he's the only bloke for that spot, he's not going to go, is he?
I suspect Cole Sylvia's in a bit of trouble.
Yeah.
It's been a big investment in Cole Sylvia. He's had half a dozen games and his numbers just don't stack up.
Why do you reckon they got him, Jason?
Well, look, he's got talent. There's 3 blokes in board he's got to hit there with the pass. But what probably struck me as even more pertinent in that clip there was how slow he looked when he got the ball. I mean, I've seen him as an explosive high half forward / midfielder.
Has he been explosive, do you reckon, do you?
When he was at Melbourne, absolutely. When he was fit, when he was up and running.
I don't think the Melbourne supporters would say that. I was puzzled as to why Freo would have got him.
They're low numbers, Jared.
Yeah, 1 goal in 6 games. It's just not going to get it done. Now, if he had a stack of tackles to back that up, I think he probably stays in. But
do you see the same intensity? You see them more than we do. Do you see the same intensity level?
I have done over the last 6 or 7 games. I mean, I had the theory they had the runners-up hangover early. It took them a while to crack into this season, but they've been flying along. I think they're entitled to put their credits on the table and say, let's just see them, wait and see what happens over the next 5 weeks.
I think they've been efficient rather than impressive, I must say.